down at them,
It's a shameful thing to disturb.
they're going to do what they're going to do. They don't need you wagging your fingers at them.
So tell that to the slave owners. Tell that to those at Auschwitz, right?
Okay, what does have to do with this?
Well, it's the oppression of other human beings. It's the slaughter of other human beings.
Okay, people love.
Would you be upset with, say, Bonhoeffer, who was speaking out against the Nazis? Just let them do what they want, right?
No, absolutely not, because that.
But you've decided that these humans don't matter.
That is genocide.
What do you call this?
No, you're going to think this is too, but women are still going to have abortions.
So slave owners are still going to own slaves. Sex trafficking is still going to happen. We should let it stay legal.
How is that a related argument?
So your argument is, if people are going to do it anyways, let them do it. So we shouldn't stop sex trafficking?
Provide them a medical place that they can have access and not die.
You didn't respond to what I asked you. If your argument is that they're going to do it anyways, so let it be, then what would you say to sex trafficking?
That's different.
Sex trafficking is illegal, but it still happens.
No, it's different.
How?
Because women are coming, or people with uteruses, I should say, are coming here.
How do you know how? Well, first of all, how do you know how I identify? How do you know how I identify? Have you asked me my pronouns?
I haven't, actually. Sorry.
Okay. So you assume I don't have a uterus?
Well, I'm saying people with uteruses.
What about me looks like I don't have a uterus?
I'm just saying, do you have one?
Do you see how your leftist, unbelieving worldview has just collapsed?
Oh, how?
Yeah, because your challenge is, if people don't have uteruses, they shouldn't have anything to say.
No, I'm saying that they let her do what she wants.
Tell that to the slave owners, the plantation owners.
Oh my gosh, that's an unrelated argument that you're making.
No, your moral argument is that they should be able to do what they want. Human beings should be able to do what they want. So what about the plantation owners?
The pronoun thing, because how is that relevant here?
Well, you were bringing up the issue. Do you think I have a uterus?
You could be trans, I don't know.
This is what happens with unbelieving thought, is that you get into such a mixed up position that you can't even tell the difference between a boy and a girl.
No, it's just that if you were trans, then I would accept you for that.
Okay,
than,
so
hold on to some frail masculine.
So if a person does not have a uterus and yet pretends to have one, you would respect that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would.
There you go. So she just said that if a person does not even have a vagina or a uterus, but they wanted to pretend like they did, she would respect that.
Yeah, because it's called, some people have different identities, so learn other people's stories and listen
Every
to them.
single one of you expects us to respect your identity as a motherfucking Christian.
Yep.
Every single one of you does. So how very dare
I don't ask you. No. Respect is earned. Respect is earned.
You stand out here and you call people murderers.
Would you mind if I responded? Would you mind if I responded? Respect is earned. You made a claim. I'm just responding to you.
You're saying that, but you're so condescending.
Okay, so how many?
No, listen. When somebody refutes your, can I respond to? Can you respect the woman? She spoke. Can you respect? Can you respect the woman?
Sex abuse.
Okay.
Let's talk about institutionalized Christian sex abuse.
Okay.
How many kids are getting fucked by their bishops?
Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
No, it's absolutely abhorrent.
It's wrong? By what standard? Because I agree it's wrong, but I believe in God's word, God's spoken. That's immoral.
I believe in choice.
And anybody,
and no
do you?
So
the pedophile is choosing to rape the child. You believe in choice. That's your standard.
No, choice cannot be. This kid right here cannot choose whether or not a 40-year-old man has the right to.
And these children can't choose whether they're being slaughtered. You just refuted yourself. If this child is too young,
didn't believe in abortions, how come so many second trimester abortions?
You're going to have to stay on one argument at a time, sir.
No,
by what standard are you making any sexual ethical claims?
This is what I mean when I say you come down here and demand respect. And
no, I don't demand any respect. No.
Yeah, except you're telling me to live by your fucking rules.
No, I'm saying God.
You own the motherfucking
God created the world, so you don't want to have a dialogue. You don't want to have a dialogue.
You say that you want
what
respect,
you have is not a dialogue.
So let's try. Let's try it. You give me a claim. I'll respond, and then you do a claim. We'll do it that way. So my challenge to you is, by what standard do you complain?
A 40-year-old man has the right to touch you. Do you think that's his choice? Do you think you're old enough to choose to let a 40-year-old man touch you?
Well, whether or not it's wrong, so.
It's a question of whether it's wrong.
You're old enough to get in a car And drive it? No.
Sir, you're acting like a child has rights
I mean, why does
and
it
should be
matter?
protected.
Why does it matter?
But you are not protecting all the children being slaughtered through this
they're not
organization.
fucking children yet,
Okay,
dude.
so let me ask you a
Use your
question.
words.
Let me ask you a question.
Use your words.
So what's
They're
in
not children
what's
yet.
in the womb biologically?
Are you anti-cancer?
No, I actually.
Are you
sir,
protesting
you're going to have to
chemotherapy?
stay on one train of thought.
No,
you made a
I
claim
don't,
about what's in the
bitch. I
womb.
don't have to- I
Okay,
don't
so
have to
what's
live
in the
by your
womb?
rules.
What's in the womb biologically?
Do you believe in chemo?
Can you answer that question? What's in the womb biologically?
It's a cluster of cells. Do you believe in
You're a cluster of
chemotherapy?
cells. You're a cluster of what cells?
Do you believe
Human
in
cells.
chemotherapy?
So what's in the
I'm a
womb
cluster
is
of
human.
tax-paying cells,
You're a cluster of human
unlike
cells.
your church.
Okay, human cells.
So don't even try me there.
Right, because there's a separation of church and
Because
state.
You wouldn't even
There's a
have,
separation of church and
You
state.
would not even have this concrete to stand on if it wasn't for me. So
For
my
you?
Taxes. So yes.
Yeah.
Everyone that pays sales taxes pays for these things.
That's exactly what I
So we
just
all
said.
do that. So congratulations, you're wrong. So the next question is, what's in the womb?
Right and I'm wrong.
What's in the womb
You're
from
right.
conception? What's in the womb from conception?
A cluster
Biologically.
Of cells. A cluster
What kind of cells?
And how many of those make it past the
What kind
second
of cells?
trimester without God aborting them?
Sir, these kind of
How many of those clusters of cells make
this
it past
methodology,
the second trimester
you're ignoring the
without
question.
God aborting
You're
them?
ignoring the question.
You're
Which is
refusing to
convenient
answer a
for you.
question that you
We
can't
all
answer.
understand. We all understand
It's
why you're
very
not answering,
convenient, isn't it?
sir. We all understand why you're not answering.
Yes, we also
This
understand that your
gaslighting.
little itty-bitty
This
brain-
this
I've
gaslighting.
said so many gaslighting things here
I'm
today.
I'm challenging
You
his
literally
position.
said that you don't even want to respect. No, don't interrupt me.
Yeah, go ahead.
You literally said you don't want to respect people who are trans.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. You were like,
No, I believe they deserve-
No. This is what you said. You said these kids.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this kids. This leftist likes to say that because of identity, that blah blah blah.
No,
literally
I was-
respecting people.
No, ready?
You literally.
Can I
said that,
respond?
and then you were like,
Can I
"You
respond?"
respect me?" Yeah, if you would stop motherfucking interrupting.
I'll respond.
everyone.
I'll
I've
respond.
Not said hardly
He just
a thing
let
in the
you
last.
talk.
I'll respond to what you said.
And he also interrupted me. Actually,
I'll respond to what you said now.
Well,
Can I have
can
I have 25 seconds?
To a woman.
Can I have 25 seconds to respond?
Keeps interrupting. Keeps
Okay.
interrupting. Yep.
Okay, so you made a
go ahead.
claim. I'll respond to it now.
Yeah, about your transphobia.
What I said to them was that this is the mindset that can look at a person and see that it's biologically male, and the person pretends to have a uterus, and you would believe them.
I would just fucking respect them. That's the
You
difference.
know, speaking of which,
Yeah.
did you know with your ginger beard,
Yeah.
sir, that there is almost
Did
the
you
same
see
percentage
ad hominem
And did you see
argumentation?
that there are also almost the exact same percentage of redheads as there are kids who are born intersex, male and female.
That is a
It's an
fiction.
artificial-
That is a fiction.
What is
That is a
fiction?
pure fiction, sir. Pure fiction. And also it's a category. It's a
You're like
category
telling
error.
me I've never met
It's a
somebody
category.
I've
It's a
met.
category
You're
error.
literally telling me I've never met somebody I actually know.
I know intersex people.
So they do exist.
But you made a claim about red hair and intersex.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
about 1%.
it's fiction.
It's about 1%
It's
of the population.
it's a fiction.
Yeah.
So my challenge to you, going back to what you were saying,
Because I know how you religious folks like this
what's in the, you're very religious, sir. What's in the womb from conception is human biologically. It's irrefutable.
You know, a tumor is human too.
No, a human.
Yeah, when
So-
you have cancer
No.
in your balls,
So what's
it's a human,
in the
it's a
womb?
human
What's
cell,
in the womb from
and it's
conception?
cancerous.
Let's talk
Do
science.
you believe
Let's talk
in
science.
treating a tumor with medicine? Is what I want to know. If
Tumors-
your testicles
tumors-
start to swell, or probably
tumors
your prostate
are
with
a-
stick up your ass.
Tumors
If
are a
your
part
prostate
of.
starts to swell, are you going to go get chemotherapy, or are you going to let that group of tumors determine the course of your life?
You want me to answer now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you
So you're
going to
making
get
you're making the
Are
same
you
kind
going
of.
to get chemotherapy when your prostate tumor?
Sir, I asked you if I could respond.
You can respond if you answer that.
I'm trying.
Question.
Can you
Answer that
can you
question.
stop for a moment long enough to hear what's being said? Okay.
Answer that question.
Do you want me to answer?
Answer that question.
I'm doing it.
No, you're
will
not.
Will you stay silent enough
Answer
to
that
allow for the
Am I
questions
gonna just let
answer
you
to come?
sit around and just like?
So you're
sit
not
on
interested
me
in
until
talking.
You answer?
You're not interested in talking.
You know,
Okay. Your worldview is bankrupt. You can't sustain any kind of cross-examination unless you can.
Speaking of bankrupt,
Would you like me?
not your churches, even though they should be with all the child abuse.
Sir, you don't have a standard to live. You don't have an absolute standard to live by. You don't have an absolute standard to appeal to. I imagine you're an atheist, correct? Are you an atheist? Are you an atheist? Can we at least have one answer to a question I give?
No.
Are you an agnostic?
You told me, you just spent 20 minutes telling me you were going to answer my question if I shut the fuck up, so I shut the fuck up.
We have witnesses here. Would he allow me to answer the question? You didn't. There's numerous witnesses.
They did stop. I'm a witness.
Okay, so would you like me to answer the one question you asked about tumor?
Yeah. Are you going to get your prostate
So you engaged in what in a logic course would be called a category error, and comparing
so that's not an answer.
Sir, I'm trying to answer.
Not an answer.
I'm trying to answer.
No,
but see, listen, sir.
My question, so you don't
your
have
question is
answer.
illogical, and I'm going to show you how.
What I said.
So I know, sir, that you're from the TikTok generation that doesn't allow for more than 10 seconds to answer.
You're too emotional, sir. Calm down.
I don't have to.
So
you don't get to fucking tell me
the category.
I'm not touching you. You're the one calling people murderers.
Because it is murder.
Maybe if you don't use
because it is murder, sir, you're a hypocrite. Sir, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. You just sat here for the last 10 minutes calling me names, inflammatory language. I know you don't.
I don't need your approval.
Would you like me to continue answering?
I would like you to start.
You committed a category error. Anybody in any logic textbook with any logic textbook would tell you what you committed was a category error. Can I explain to you how?
Really?
Because you compared a human being, a developing human being, to a tumor, to different things.
Two biological
Two different things.
Okay,
Sir, you're a clump of cells. Are you not a clump of cells? You're changing the subject. You're changing the subject, and we both know why you're changing it. Because you can't sustain this argument. We know why you're changing the argument.
If men could keep it in their fucking pants, women wouldn't.
Sir, don't talk to my. Hey, sir, don't talk to my son like that.
You brought your kids
hey, sir,
out
sir,
to public.
Sir,
I can talk
you,
however
but
I want.
But you should.
Just like you have a First Amendment right, I have a First Amendment right.
Sir,
and that's what I'm.
No right. I'm asking you to show respect for children.
If men like y'all, and I mean straight men, keep their dicks in their fucking pants, women wouldn't need abortions.
Yeah. Well,
so when you guys can work on your part of the problem, I think that it's fair to criticize
someone else. By what standard do you condemn anything sexually? By what standard?
It's none of your fucking business.
Thank you. You don't even have a standard. So you can't complain about the pedophile or the rapist or anything because you don't have an ethical standard which to stand on. You have zero.
You don't have an ethical standard.
No, I'm saying I gave you the opportunity to provide a foundation for an ethical claim.
It's none of your fucking business.
Right, because you don't have one.
They do.
Okay, so that's
you don't.
They would really be here talking.
You don't have an ethical standard.
You just think they're
philosophically speaking, give me the rigorous foundation to say I can make a solid sexual claim about ethics. Give it to me.
Consent.
By what standard?
Women should be able to consent if they're going to use their
Okay, so hold on. I'm going to answer it.
I know that you're going to say, what about the babies? But the thing is, you don't care long term about these women.
Hold on.
When they literally have to birth a child.
The consent issue is important for you. So sexually, consent is all that matters.
Yes.
So a human being should be able to consent if somebody wants to do something to their body against their will.
The clump of cells is a
because you know you've given a self-refuting argument.
Yeah. Well, no.
Yes.
Yes. I know that
murder or not?
It's self-refuting.
No, I know you're going to make that argument.
Yeah. Your position is bankrupt.
Yes, but.
Yes.
Is meat murder? That's what I want to know. Is meat murder?
So another category error. You just compared animals to human beings.
No,
you do understand.
I'm comparing.
You do understand that DNA demonstrates there's a difference biologically between humans and beasts.
Consciousness now. Actually.
Okay, so is it consciousness?
Yeah, I'm actually talking about consciousness now.
So your argument is if a person has full consciousness, we should respect them. What about the person in a coma? Can we kill them?
How are they alive? What if
no, you said consciousness.
What if the electricity
You said consciousness.
If the electricity
so people
goes
in
out,
comas,
murder?
People in comas shouldn't be cared for, loved, respected.
This whole thing, but
You've both refuted yourselves.
Either way, and so have you. Actually.
No, ma'am, you can demonstrate that. Go ahead. How?
Because I've brought up multiple times about how you're actually taking care of women long term, and then
we do.
We go back.
Have you?
I like to say that, but the thing is that you don't understand how much pregnancy.
Do you know what we do?
Yeah, I had a long chat with this person over here. Yeah.
Okay, well,
so,
let me ask you a question.
Still,
If we compare, this isn't important
so
to
what are you
me.
doing to prevent-
This isn't important to me. But if we compared resumes, right now,
Because we live in a state
hold on.
with
If
an
we,
insurance
can you
ahead.
respect
Go
the
ahead.
woman and let her speak for a moment?
Go ahead.
So if we compared resumes, just because the challenge you're making is we don't do anything long term. So if we compared resumes and took what we do as a church for women long term versus what you've done your entire life,
church or
if we compared resumes,
sorry, honey, I gotta go.
who do you think would actually have more that they've done for women, provided more for women long term? Who?
Probably not you.
So what have you done? Last, say, 2 years. How many women have you provided for? How many medical bills have you paid? How many people have you put into a home? How many people have you fed?
Paid them on your own. I volunteered a lot, actually, and I also know a lot of people who've had abortions because they couldn't afford.
So we know them
else.
too. Yes.
Yeah.
They've killed their baby because they can't afford it.
Because long term, you wouldn't care if they had that baby. And
So
they
kill the
couldn't
poor
feed it,
kids.
And they couldn't feed it.
So kill the poor kids.
That's exactly the point. They're poor, so you can't.
So
you're not
you
caring for
believe
them.
that we should be able to kill children because the
No,
family
I
has
think that
financial
these
difficulty?
People with uteruses have a choice. They have a choice because either
To kill
way,
their child.
to essentially have autonomy over their body.
Okay, but there's another body in their body that's not their body.
But
Does that body have autonomy?
I mean, but you don't care about those women.
I care about both. I take care of both. So, but the
Okay.
bodily autonomy argument you made
Yes,
should apply to
because
the
you
body in the
don't
womb.
Understand.
So
You
what-
Just please, like, you
Yes.
and just try to empathize.
Go ahead.
If you
We empathize all the time.
I mean, it's not going to work because you already have this like very specific worldview, and
And you do too. And you do too.
Yeah, and I also have a fucking uterus.
Yeah.
So pretty crazy because if I got pregnant,
So-
I know that myself, young, graduated from college, has student debt, doesn't really have a lot of health care, things like that, things that bills most of you vote for, right? Like universal health care, things like that. If I got pregnant, it would be very difficult for me to afford that, let alone afford the tens of thousands of medical
So-
Explain to me
so-
again. We talked about that. That was me.
Yeah.
But
So-
you made that choice, and if you feel fine about it now, that's okay. But there are women
So your
who
argument,
don't regret their
but you
abortion.
see, in principle, your argument is that
That
we should be
women
able to
should have a
kill.
choice.
We should be able to kill the children of people in poverty. That's the best
No,
thing.
it's that a lot of those people in poverty don't have access to proper resources anyway. So what are you doing for
So
them?
kill the babies.
Because pregnancy rates are actually higher in a lot of low-income communities.
Yeah.
And so if they don't have access to resources or birth control,
They should be able to kill their babies.
they should be able to make a choice for their body and for themselves.
But what's
Because
inside their body
9
dying is not their
9 months,
body.
And then they don't even have maternal care. So what about that?
But you'll at least
say
you'll at
my
least
job,
acknowledge
say my
this.
job.
Hold on, I'm gonna just before you say your job, you'll at least acknowledge this. You would have to, if you want to make any sense, that the body inside the body is not her body.
I mean, it is just a clump of cells. Yeah.
Wait, no, you're a clump of cells. You're a clump of human cells, and
Yeah,
what's
but
in the
it's
womb
not
is a
developed-
distinct.
It's not even after a certain point of
So we should be able to kill children who are not fully developed. How about
Not
him?
developed. I mean, you're here walking, breathing, eating. Yes, you are.
Okay,
Yes,
so
that's
the standard is.
not until a certain point. Are
So
they?
wait, so what's the standard? What's the standard? You said walking, eating, breathing. Is that what makes somebody
No.
have dignity?
No.
Walking, eating, breathing? What
No,
about crawling children? Can I kill a crawling child?
No, I know you were going to mention that because you think that you're like some
Because
master.
your argument is that
No, I
it's.
was responding to them saying.
I
I'm
know,
not.
but I'm pointing out to you that your argument is if it's
Women
not a
have choices
fully
over their
developed
bodies.
human, then we can kill it.
I think that at a certain point that abortion is fine. Yeah.
Okay, so at what point can I not kill my child that's not fully developed? Because 9-month-olds are
Well, no,
very dependent on their mothers.
Not birthed children.
Oh, really?
And
What's the
after
difference?
Probably about. I would have to look at like the gestation thing. 'Cause I'm
So-
not entirely
so
sure,
what
But
y-
definitely after a certain point, I don't think abortion.
So what you should, what, because it's icky?
No, because I think that it's different for development.
How so? What's different?
I have only a set amount
But
of eggs.
You understand the DNA,
After that point, those were children that
do you
were
understand
eggs
that
were fertilized to become children.
the human at
So-
8 months old is the self-same human biologically that was 1 day old?
but
Self-same.
We're not going to be on the same page about when we think that consciousness is
So
when conception
you
becomes
keep
life.
changing between size, level of development.
No, I've been pretty consistent.
No,
about
you're
this.
changing your argument because now you're
No,
saying
I'm
it's
not.
consciousness.
No, sir, I know you like to gaslight and manipulate. And
No,
argue.
I haven't gaslit you at all. I've called you no names. I'm saying
I didn't
what.
say you called me names. It's not the same thing.
No, I'm continuing the conversation. My point is that now you're saying consciousness. Before it was eating, walking, breathing. Then it was not fully developed. Now you're saying consciousness. So a person in a coma, we should be able to just kill them?
No.
They're not fully conscious.
I'm saying that within a certain point of pregnancy, I think that it's okay to have an abortion because a woman can make that choice.
And so we can kill a human being.
Either way, it's going to happen whether people come to Planned Parenthood.
Just
or
like
not,
sex
whether it's
trafficking,
legal.
just like theft, just like murder.
No.
Should those things be should those things be banned?
Because those are within a system that is extremely corrupt, and I know you're going to say, "What about this?" But
A million children die a year through organizations like this.
1800s, people don't have access to abortion. It's very looked down upon. Which, by the
No,
way,
they did. You're wrong
also-
about that. You're wrong about that.
Not always.
Abortifacients have been around since the Roman Empire.
No. I know that abortion, has been around for a long time.
Yeah, and in America.
But I'm saying when there was a cultural shift that made it a lot more.
It was a
legal.
crime.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's what I'm saying. When these people, they would go in basements and have abortion.
Right.
Because they had
Sex
no other choice.
trafficking is also illegal, but it's still happening here in Salt
So
Lake.
you're going to view a woman who just wants to come in here and not have to which circling back, by the way, to maternal time off, which isn't really, what are you doing to provide for women that have to take maternity care? Can't miss working, can't pay rent, can't afford food. You're essentially only looking at life after a certain point.
No,
not caring about the women.
we've fed, sustained, paid rent for many women.
And what about their medical lasting problems?
And medical bills and all the
Like
rest.
continuing after birth.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that if, again, once your argument is if the situation is a situation of poverty, we should be able to kill children.
To make sure that there's actually lasting.
Well, let me just point out, my wife had to have 4 C-sections. Her body still has trauma from our children. This is number 4. Should he be dead?
Well, it sounds like she was willing to have children.
So it's only the willingness is all that matters.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay, so if I want somebody dead, then that's okay.
No.
Because I want them dead.
No, because you don't even care about the women who can't afford.
You're not answering the question.
I said no.
You said
I did.
it's
answered it.
only
I
if
did
they
answer
want
it.
it.
I said no.
Okay, only if they want it. So your answer is no. So you're changing your argument now.
No, I'm not. See, I feel.
Can you help me understand?
How do I need to spell it out?
Okay, so I'll challenge you with what I asked, so you can help me.
No, see,
you said only if they want it.
Here's my last thing. Here's my last remark.
Okay.
You come here and you like to throw in arguments and then talk over people and say that they've said other things, but you're not even.
I reject that claim.
Okay, you can reject it because you're too deluded to see anything else about that.
I haven't insulted you.
It's just an observation. So that's okay.
It's just an insult. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. But so either way, women are going to make choices regardless.
People are going to own slaves.
No, it's not the same thing.
It is. It's still the oppression of a human being. Sex trafficking is going to happen. Don't make it a crime.
About the women, what are you doing to make sure
I've already answered that. I've already answered that.
I haven't answered birth control. Or
can I answer that? You're bringing it up now. I'll answer it. So if you're talking about abortifacients that actually don't stop conception, they just stop the baby from being able to implant after being formed.
Are you talking about birth control?
I'm fully opposed to those abortifacient birth controls. Yes.
Why?
Because they don't actually stop the unique creation of a human being.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. I'd encourage you to look it up.
I have.
They create an environment where, well, clearly not, because you don't know what I'm saying to you. They create an environment inside the womb of the mother that doesn't allow the uniquely created human to actually implant. It doesn't stop. These abortifacient birth controls don't stop the formation of a human being. They actually stop it from being able to actually implant.
No, because they allow it so that you're not having, well, it depends on the kind of birth control possibly, but a released egg.
So I'm saying of those abortifacient birth controls, I am opposed to,
You don't even care about birth control, so you don't care about preventing.
You know what would actually work?
Pregnancy,
You know what actually work?
Abstinence.
God.
And that's not going to work.
Us obeying God's
not going to work.
call
Not going to work.
to actually be responsible over our own sexuality, not treat other human beings like beasts. And what we can do is when we actually do sin,
Sex
and we fall into
sexual part of people's life.
How about pedophilia? Is that natural?
No.
No. So you do believe that there are sexual no-nos?
Absolutely.
Okay, so by what standard? What's a sexual no-no?
Children can't consent to an adult.
Who says that I should have followed that? You?
I'm sorry, what? Children can't consent.
Okay, that's your sexual ethical standard. Mm-hmm. If you can't consent, then it can't be done. And I'm saying, says who? You?
Says personal autonomy, which has been
no, but that's your standard. But the pedophile, he doesn't like your standard. So give him the good news of your unbelief. Give him the good news of your sexual ethic. He doesn't buy into your system. So by what standard do you want him to comply? He doesn't agree with you. He likes it with the kids.
But it's just the same argument you're making. Anyone can have any specific belief about that.
Thank you. So the pedophile's not really wrong, is he? According to your system.
Yes, no, he is.
You just said that everyone can have their own beliefs.
No, I think that obviously having autonomy over your body, i.e. consent.
Fantastic. So thank you for that pro-life argument. Because the body and your body.
That children can't, but you don't even care about women who don't want to.
You're not grasping what I just said to you.
No, I am.
You made a bodily autonomy argument, and you don't believe it.
I know all your arguments, and.
But you don't believe your own argument. You just said bodily autonomy and consent.
For women, yes.
What about the women in the womb?
I'm just saying that I think people should have be able to have.
But the women in the womb don't have bodily autonomy, according to you.
Well, you're arguing that just by conception that's life, and we're not going to agree on that.
Biologically, as a fact of science, that's a fact.
Birth control to prevent it.
No, you asked me about how I felt about it, and I said that I don't believe we should have birth controls that are abortifacients that kill children. No.
I mean, they're not technically abortifications. So.
Abortifacients are things that actually abort the developing human being in the womb.
No, they're not, because if the
I'd encourage you just to go. We don't have to dispute anymore. You can just go look it up.
Sure, I will.
Yeah, look it up.
I'll look it up again. But the ovary, if it isn't releasing an egg in a proper environment for conception,
no, it's what it does to the walls inside the womb.
People are going to keep fucking, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
That will be my lasting remark. They will.
So
abortion will happen.
I'll use that. I'll use that for you too. Sex trafficking is going to happen. Slavery is just going to happen.
Different. That is a system of people
of oppression of other human beings. Correct.
Yeah, but that's not.
Thank you.
That's a logical fallacy.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I'm using your moral standard, and I'm asking you to look at it.
Look, we're not going to get on the same thing. I know you.
Get off. Here's why. Because you need to repent. You need to repent and come to Christ.
No.
That's why your arguments are so fallacious.
Oh, are they?
That's why your arguments won't work.
I actually have a very great spiritual life.
Do you?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
So are you a believer? Are you an atheist? What are you?
No, I would say I'm spiritual.
What's that mean?
Higher power.
What? Okay. How do you know that this higher power exists?
I have actually had I would say some connective moments. Yeah.
Okay. And so the Muslim says that too. So does the Hindu.
Yeah,
so
what's
does.
Wrong with,
So does the.
Are you evangelical?
So does the pedophile.
Are you evangelical?
He believes it's a very spiritually enlightening experience for him. Have you heard them tell those stories about how spiritually enlightened it makes them?
Because people can have their own religion.
So,
are you intolerant of?
No, I'm pointing out to you that you claim to believe in a higher power, but you're basing your knowledge of this higher power on your own perception and experiences. And I'm saying, because
I don't think that a God put us here to be have fun, figure it out. And
no, God spoke. I don't believe it.
I'm not afraid of going to hell.
Respectfully, I'm not afraid of going to hell.
You have God.
No, respectfully. I want to just encourage you with this. We don't believe that God just set this universe in motion and walked away from it. God condescended and walked among us.
And so then
that's who Christ is.
And then women get impregnated, and that's just all kind of.
So I'm sorry. Can you help me understand what you were?
Women getting impregnated, isn't that technically a part of God's plan?
Yes, but we live in a fallen world, and we live in a fallen world where God creates people in His image to live like Him, to love one another and do no harm. And because we're all rebels against the same God, all of us, you and me both, we harm one another. We sin against one another. We put people in chains. We enslave black people in a wicked way.
Yep.
We have sex trafficking, and we have women who waltz their children into a place like this to have them slaughtered.
Because they have a choice over their body.
But that's not their body.
You don't care about them.
But that's not their body. We've already established that. It's not their body.
We're not going to change about that.
Right, because you're wrong.
People with uteruses are going to keep having abortions.
And sex traffickers are still going to keep kidnapping girls and sex trafficking them.
Away resources for them to be able to have birth
We don't.
control.
Do you see what's next door?
No, to have birth control.
Do you see what's next door?
Yeah, the Pregnancy Resource Center.
So So you said we're taking away resources
every
when there's literally a pregnancy resource center right there.
Yeah, here. Not
Yeah.
all communities have that.
Well, we have them a lot. They're called churches.
Okay, well
We
that's
have
not
a
for
list.
everyone.
We have a list of
Yeah.
dozens of them in the valley here that don't kill children.
Okay, so not everyone has access though, like
No, they're literally all over the valley.
Nationally.
You could go anywhere in Utah
Well,
and
then you have
get.
to assume that they have the means to get there. It's just.
So if a woman has a difficult time, she should just be able to kill her child. That's really what you
She
believe.
can make a choice about her body, because you'll never know what it's like to have.
But it's not her body.
So
What's in her body is not her body.
it is.
Biologically, it's a
It is
fact.
herself, so.
This is the same line of reasoning that allows you
Yeah,
to
no,
believe
I
that a
know.
man
Go
who
back
has a
to it.
penis has a uterus.
No, I'm just saying that there can be trans people who have uteruses that identify as a man. So just because I get it, you're transphobic. I'm not willing to go down.
I'm
that
not afraid of anybody, but I'm talking about if a man has a penis.
Discriminatory then.
If a man has a penis, you said that you would believe him if he was so self-deluded, he said, I have a uterus.
If they, she, whatever they identify as, there's science behind even the brain being like showing in a certain way that
But
identifies
biologically in the DNA, it's a male. And men don't have
Why do you
uteruses.
give a fuck if they're like, I'm a woman? Why do you care?
Because I love my neighbor. I love my neighbor enough.
Controlling them
I
just
love
like you love controlling
I love my
women.
neighbor enough
You love
to speak the truth.
the truth that they
Yeah.
live, where you wag your godly finger down at them and shame
Have I wagged my finger at you?
Yes, you literally here have like essentially metaphorically spat.
So
on
metaphorically,
yeah,
right? Okay.
spat on trans people.
Okay. So
Look, we don't need to keep going.
you've
I get
been.
it. Yeah, we get it.
I'm gonna just call you to repentance. Trust. You can trust in
No,
Christ. You'll be forgiven.
I love not.
You love your sin. Yeah.
I do.
You do. Thank you. That's all we knew would happen.
You're making the choices you want for your own body.
Except the babies.